Hello out there, and welcome to the Danny.
And Rihanna show. This is Danny Pena, Rihanna's husband.
And this is Rihanna Manuel Pena, Danny's wife. And today we're going to kind of get a little bit more real. I think it's important to remember while we're doing a lot of stuff we're really excited for, it's not all flowers and sunshine, right, Danny?
Yeah, 100%. And for those who know this, let's say this is your first time watching this show. Are planning to move internationally. We're planning to move to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. And, we've been there now multiple times last year. And one of the things that we wanted to do was to see how it is living over there, for over a week or a couple weeks. And it went well, but I know beyond our minds, we're like, man, there's other things you're probably going to be missing here in the States. So I think that's one of the conversations that we're going to bring up on this episode, where we're going to be talking about the positive, of course, the positive side, but also the negative things, where the things that we're going to miss once we leave the United States. So I think
Yeah,
it's going to be a good conversation.
there's a lot that we're really excited for, our future to show us, but there are things that we'll miss, and there's things that are hard about leaving, obviously. And I guess the first one I'll bring up, while we are technically closer to more of our family being aligned with the East Coast over the West Coast, where we are right now,
Yep.
there are a handful of really key family members who will be further away, namely our family here in California, but also my mom and her husband. And I've always lived fairly close to my mom, like within driving distance. There were some periods where we got a little further away from each other here and there. And when I was in Seattle and she was in Las Vegas, it was a short flight, not a short drive. But it's so easy to just get in the car, pack everything up, not have to worry about flight times or, luggage limits or liquid restrictions, and to just go to grandma's house. And we're not going to have as easy of a time with that anymore. And I'll miss that a
Yeah.
lot. It'll probably be one of the biggest things for me.
Yeah, and I know people are probably gonna be thinking, but well, for me, I really not gonna miss that. It's different when you have a child. It's
Yeah.
very different because, what one of the things that I always remember is me being in Dominican Republic visiting my grandparents as a kid, and I will go there every summer. We'll stay there for months. Go there from like June all the way to like September or the end of October. But I still remember those memories, and I want our daughter to also remember those memories too of her being with her grandparents. So hopefully we could do that in different ways where
Yes.
most likely my mom, it's gonna be easier for her to travel to the Dominican Republic because she's the East Coast. But like for your mom, dad, and everybody else, stepdad, everybody, for them they're probably gonna be traveling a lot more over there and spending more time in DR while taking a little break from the West Coast. We'll see. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But I think one of the things I also will bring up, and this is something that I have to get used to. I'm not really used to this. I think the closest is when I used to live in Miami. I was away from all the events here in LA. So I would usually will travel from Miami to Los Angeles or Seattle, San Francisco, and other places where I'll attend events. So for those that don't know, I do a lot of content creation, media, do a lot of hands-on for gaming products that's coming out before it comes out. So we get to see that ahead of time. And also we do that for work too. But I also sit down with a lot of people to do interviews, in-person interviews. Usually us being here in LA has been super easy because everything is just super close. But now that we're moving somewhere else now in the Dominican Republic, it's going to be a little bit challenging because now it's going to be the majority maybe remote, but there's going to be cases that I have to travel from DR to the West Coast, and that's a longer trip.
Yeah.
That's the part I'm a little bit like, I just gotta get used to it. I got used to it when I was living in the East Coast, but now further away, a little bit more further away, it's just gonna feel different when it comes to that. I know things are gonna work out for sure. It's just the first few months is just gonna be a little weird for me, but I think I'll get used to it after a while. So, and the thing is, this is something that's gonna benefit for our show, the Gamer Tag Radio podcast, and also for our consulting company, DNR Media. consulting, you know. So we'll figure it out. I think it's gonna be fine, but getting used to it's gonna be difficult for me.
Yeah, that's a big one for sure, and a lot of
Mhm,
reason why we really love being here in LA because it's pretty central to a lot of the gaming stuff and career stuff that we do. But
mhm.
it's a trade-off, right? It
Yep,
can't be 100% perfect. So that's
sure.
a good one to call out. Another one for me that might not be as big for you is the language barrier. I am a
Mm,
native English speaker. I took 4 years of Spanish and 3 years of Spanish in high school, and I took a couple years in college too.
okay.
But I am not fluent, and I can get by with conversational Spanish, but it's hard when I get put on the spot in public. I get really self-conscious, and that's part of why it's taken me so long to speak more Spanish because I know a ton. I know a lot. I can almost read everything that I see. I can understand more than half of what I hear, even when it's Dominican Spanish, which is very fast and drops some noises and consonants here and there. I can still understand it. I can still keep up. But when
Mhm,
it comes my turn to speak, I clam up and I choke a little. Like,
mhm,
so
right.
that's going to be challenging for me, but it's a challenge that is far overdue for me to face and get over it because I should be able to speak it by now. And I will very soon. Before
Mhm.
we go, it's my goal to be more comfortable speaking in public, which is definitely something I'm nervous for.
Yeah. Well, I that's another thing that, and I know it can relate. This is relate to you too, Ree, where you know, usually being over here, I get a lot of packages. I'm talking about like from gaming companies, stuff that we order all the time. Usually within hours, it will be here or the next day or a couple of days, right? Now that we're going to be living somewhere else internationally, yes, I'll still get those same packages, but now it's going to take a little bit longer. A couple of days later, you know, or a week later, whatever. That's something that I really gotta get used to, and especially you, 'cause you order stuff all the time, and how's the process of ordering stuff, you know, or people sending you stuff from the States to Dominican Republic. I know this is different with the cargo companies and all that stuff, but just the waiting,
Yeah,
that part I gotta get used to big time, you know? And I know eventually we'll get used to it, you know, we're like, "Hey, it's fine." But again, the first few times is just gonna feel weird, you know what I'm saying? So, I'll give you a
for
perfect
sure.
example, like, you know, Microsoft sent me the Xbox Series X a month plus ahead of time, right? Imagine, let's say any company will send me a package like that, like a product like that, that's not out, no, it's only maybe a few people around the world get it, right? They're sending me that, and I'm seeing other creators already posting that content like, "Hey, I already got it." I'm like, "I know mine is arriving, but when? When is it gonna arrive?" That's the part they're gonna get used to so much, you know? So, I just have to be patient, you know? So but how many people around the world already has that type of product? So, it's okay for me to wait a little bit longer than the others, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mhm.
I have one more serious one, and then
Ooh, okay.
at the end I can throw an honorable mention out. But this is something that is maybe not necessarily a negative, but definitely a big hurdle to get over. How to run a business from so far away.
Mhm,
And we run a service based business. So it's not like we're going to a warehouse and packaging up orders or anything like that. But we will need to, of course, do all of our company's filings. There's lots of administrative work to do. And then when we get to the point of doing our annual taxes, which we just did for DNR this week here in California. Like I'll have to learn how to do that probably in Nevada. And if there's anything with our new business that we'll be starting eventually down in Dominican Republic, I need to learn a whole new system. And
mhm,
that's kind of like one small example of an even larger hurdle to get over is like, how do you do anything over there, right? Like
mhm,
how do you call for emergency services? How do you well, I have some videos about this, but how do you book a nail appointment?
mhm,
There's like every little thing that we do on a daily, monthly, yearly basis, we have to figure out how to do in a whole new set of systems. And part of that is actually really exciting because we get to learn something new. I love learning. I'm a big nerd. And a lot of the systems in DR agree with our lifestyle much better, right? There's a lot more personal contact. There's less technicalities and steps to get through everything, like less, what's it called? Bureaucracy to deal with. And
Mhm.
so those things I'm really excited about, but it is a hurdle, right? It is a learning curve and it's going to be a challenge. And I will probably at a lot of points miss just knowing how to do stuff. Like it'll probably get overwhelming sometimes, but again, that's part of the cost of moving anywhere really, but especially to another country. And thankfully we have a lot of friends who have done similar moves, maybe not this one specifically from LA to Punta Cana,
Mhm.
but people have moved to other countries and they figured it out, right? Like people figure it out every day. So I know we can do it, but now we will have to do it. So that is something that I think about, and will take time and energy and headspace that we don't currently use just to exist, right?
Mhm.
So it's something I think about.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Thinking about it, that yeah, it's a totally different system, the way how it works. And I know people are wondering, wait, why Nevada? Could you briefly just mention it and just change it?
Oh yeah, just threw that out there.
Yeah, you have to explain why Nevada.
Right. So our permanent
Mhm,
address in the US will move to our family home in Las Vegas, Nevada.
mhm,
So that means moving the business, that means moving a lot of stuff, moving
mhm.
our stuff, all of the
Yes.
things that aren't gonna come on the
Mhm.
first flight with us. And yeah, that's just another thing that we'll have to figure out how to do.
Yep, yep, yep. Well, we'll see. Uh, well, another thing too is for me is getting used to the healthcare system over there. Meaning, I know it's kind of similar to here, but, using a new health insurance, the way how you book appointments, people have been using WhatsApp, and we're not used to that doing that over here at all. We usually will call ourselves or book it through online, right? But the whole process of like just using WhatsApp is just weird to me. It's very, very weird. But I think we've already done that a couple times. We're renting a car and a couple other things that we're gonna get used to, and
Yeah.
also like even getting medicine, the pharmacy, you could also ask questions on WhatsApp, and they'll tell you, okay, if it's available. They'll tell you when to pick it up. Everything like it's just that process is just strange to me. You know what I'm saying? But every person that I talk to, they love it. They love the way how it is to them, and a lot of other people have been saying this, is just it feels easier than the other way, the older way, so we'll see. We'll see what once we start, booking appointments and finding the right doctor and dentist and all that, because we do that all the time over here. So what's that? I know we did a brief video of that about that. If you go to our YouTube shorts on our channel, we talked about it. Yeah. So make sure to check it out.
Number
Mhm.
number one app in DR.
Yeah.
I don't I don't think anything else is really majorly front of mind for me,
Mhm.
besides just the general missing people, places, foods, things
Yeah.
of it all. And I have a handful of things that I will have to import, like David sunflower seeds, for instance.
Oh, yes, yes. By the way, we did some research on how to get that to DR.
We research all of these things are available. It is possible.
It is
We
possible.
we will
It just
figure it
takes
out.
longer. It just takes longer.
Takes
That's all.
longer, costs more. It
Yeah.
is what it is, and it's a sometimes food, as we would say to our 2-year-old.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
maybe it's not even an honorable mention. This is legitimately something I will miss. I'll miss the movies. And this is
Yes.
and you guys, it's one of those hobbies that Danny and I bonded over early. Like, even when we were at home during the pandemic, we'd watch movies together, and, like, we love going to the movies. Like, when we have the opportunity to do a date night, it's one of the first things we choose to do, is
Mhm.
going to a theater and getting some snacks and sitting in the room with a bunch of other people we don't know and laughing and
Mhm.
crying and yelling at a screen. Like, we really love that experience, and we will have the opportunity to go to movies, but the kind of movies experience that we're looking for, that we're used to, we'd have to drive a long way to get to it. We'd have to go to Santo Domingo, which is a
Mhm.
few hours drive, So we can do it, we can, make a weekend of it, but it is gonna be different than just, 15 minutes down the road like we have now, and especially because we're coming from Hollywood, which is just so obsessed with movies and
Yeah.
shows and,
Mhm.
just entertainment in general, for it to be something that is not as present in daily life will be very weird. It really will. And we can talk more maybe in another episode about how Hollywood has been changing and how we've noticed that
Oh,
over the
living
last
over
couple
here?
years especially.
Yeah, living here in LA for sure.
Sure, but I do have a solution that I'm really excited about for it, because in our floor plan in our new house that we're building, there is a little bit of an opening for me to make a movie pit and kind of like put some floor cushions down and surround sound speakers and a projector screen and have a nice little, area for everybody to cuddle up and watch a movie together as a family, and I'm really excited for that version
Mhm.
of our movie going experience. Since, we have a little kid and we aren't gonna go to a theater for a couple years anyway, um, that's definitely a compromise that I'm more than willing to make for all of the other changes that we're excited for, which we've talked about in other episodes. But yeah, that is one that I will really miss. I will miss the ritual of going to the movies, especially AMC Burbank. It's just such a
Yeah.
unique thing. And even some of the premieres that we've been to at
Mm.
El Capitan and the Chinese theater here, where, you get to see the cast and the crew walk out at the beginning of a premiere and, like, talk about what it was like to make the film. We won't get as many of those opportunities not being local, and that's gonna be a part that I really do miss about living in LA,
Yeah, you know what, and that a lot of people don't know this, but, I'm subscribed to the A-list stubs
right?
at AMC, so I usually go to the movies all the time, and then I also will watch movies that typically people won't go and see because, hey, I could watch 3 movies the whole week, just go, but, yeah, that part I'm gonna miss, but here's the thing, like, there is a movie theater near where we're gonna be living at, right? The only issue is sometimes they have movies in English and also with subtitles. The majority of the time they have voiceover, and I don't want that for us.
Yeah.
I could do it. I prefer to watch it in English and having Spanish subtitles. But there is English versions where you could just drive to Santo Domingo. There's a lot more options over there because in Punta Cana right now there's only one theater, and hopefully in the future, because the amount of Americans, Canadians, Europeans, a lot of expats there. Hopefully, we'll get to see a bigger theater or another theater somewhere else. Because let me tell you, there's multiple supermarkets that, like, we were there in December, and that, like, the day before, a brand new supermarket just opened up. I'm like,
And
wait,
even
whoa,
since we've visited in December, there's another new one now near
yeah,
end of February.
yeah. It's like, whoa, that's a lot of supermarkets, but we need more movie theaters, please.
More movies, more malls. I definitely see that coming for sure.
Yeah, that's
And
happening. That's gonna
when we're
happen.
moving to a planned community where there is a group of people, it was a Grupo Punta Cana, who are building this city out intentionally. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it's something that they've been thinking of, like what other entertainment and gathering places they can add.
Hmm.
Like they've added a cultural center, they've added, like Danny said, several supermarkets, they've added schools. So like I know it's on the list,
It's coming.
but
It's gonna happen soon.
but until it's there, we'll have our little movie pit in the house, and that'll
Yes.
have to hold us over.
Or we drive somewhere else. It's fine.
Or we drive to the
Yeah,
city.
because let me tell you, I am not missing Avengers Doomsday. We're gonna make an event.
We'll have
We're
a
gonna
doomsday date weekend
yeah,
for sure.
we'll go on a weekend and watch it. That's the plan, so yeah, I think, future episodes, I think we should definitely talk about this week because, and typically that happens over here too, where we will bring up that we're going to Punta Cana, or people will see our content, they'll bring it up themselves, they'll ask us. But then they'll say about, but wait a minute, Punta Cana is like a touristy city, touristy area, right? And that has been changing a lot for the past couple of years. And I think on a future episode of Danny and Riana show, I think we should talk about how much things has been changing over there. That is not just a touristy area. Like there's a lot of people besides the international foreigners that have been coming in, but also locals that have been moving out from different cities going to Punta Cana because they just want a different life, a different
Yeah.
way of life. You know what I'm saying? So I think that would be a great conversation from the outside of us moving from here from the States to Punta Cana. I think that would be a great conversation between us, right? On the show.
Yeah, and I think when we have that conversation, we won't do it now. This
No, soon.
episode is
No,
coming to a
soon.
close,
Future, future, future.
but I think for you and me, Danny, specifically, people who have lived in New York, Miami, LA, visit Vegas all the time because we have family there, we can speak to what it's like to be in a tourist town
Mhm.
and how, yeah, there's touristy things there, and it absolutely is a revenue generator, but there's also people who live there. It's easy to forget that sometimes, but yeah, that'll be a fun one to talk through for sure.
100%. 100%. Anything else?
I can't really think of much else, honestly, like not having our friends like easily accessible maybe, but even now we call and Zoom with our friends more
All the
often than
time.
we sit down with them.
Mhm.
So a lot of it is, again, it's just a trade-off. There are so many things that are important to us as a business, as a family, that just outweigh these few things that make it hard.
Mhm.
So yes, it is a sacrifice in a lot of ways, but the reason why we're doing it is because overall it's better for our lives, and I'm still just as excited,
Oh, very
and
excited.
if there's anybody who's listening or watching that has any creative solutions for how these pain points could be eased even more, let us know, right? Like, I'm making a movie pit in our house, but how else can we address these things that are a little bit more challenging for us? Tell us in the comments.
Yeah, and we should read some of the recent comments we've been getting from a lot of people. I
We
think
should
it'll
do a
be
comments
cool.
episode.
We should. We should. Now, I'll mention this because I know from my part, I didn't mention friends, and there's reasons why I didn't mention friends because I know our friends are going to come
Yeah,
visit us, or we're going to see them when we visit over here. So that's why, yes, of course, it's just going to be harder to see each other.
just
Because
takes a little more effort for sure.
but believe it or not, sometimes we're here and we don't see our friends for a while unless it's like an event or get together or something, you know. So like I feel like I'm not gonna miss it because I know we're eventually gonna meet up and get together. So like different ways, either us coming over here or them visiting us, you know. So I'm not gonna miss it at all. At all. I think the other ones, it's a little bit harder than meeting with our friends,
Yeah,
honestly.
that's why I said it's definitely lower on the list because we always find a way to keep in touch with people.
Yeah, and I know they're gonna come. Who's gonna say no to the beach and hang out and, you know, in Punta Cana? Nobody gonna say no. You
I
know,
hope
so
so.
yeah, yeah, but
And
we'll
we've
we'll see.
actually already had one friend reach out and say that they'll be in Punta Cana soon and asking if we are there already. So
You
it's
know,
already happening.
I have to say this, and I briefly mentioned this to my co-host Paris on the other show, but man, we went to an event here, not here, but in the States, of course, in Las Vegas. It's called Dice. It's more for a video game conference. A lot of industry folks there. My God, the amount of people that been coming up to us and said, "How's the move? When you guys are moving to Punta Cana?" Or they thought we're living there already. You know, and
I
look,
mean, we did for a couple weeks, technically.
we did, but they don't post likes, they don't repost it, they don't reply on social media, none of that. They just see it quietly, and once they see us, they'll bring it up. That was weird to me, and I was very surprised the amount of people that came up to us saying the same exact thing. And I'm talking about like well-known people. I'm not gonna say who, but well-known folks that we know. They were bringing it up too. We're like, whoa, that is crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's good to know that everybody's scrolling in the same pool sometimes.
Yeah.
We really do appreciate when people show their support either in the platform or in person. It is really nice to talk about it because it's big thing, right? It's big.
Yeah.
It's fun to share. It's fun to share something joyful in these times. Good news that we're hopeful about and looking forward to is really nice to discuss instead of the general doom and gloom that can creep up sometimes. So I'm glad people want to walk up to us and talk about it. It's exciting. It's a great topic of conversation for
Yeah.
me. And for people who are listening and watching and who maybe aren't subscribed, please. It
Let's
it
go.
really helps us a lot. And we want to try to get to 1,000 subscribers before we actually move. And
That would be cool.
that could be any day. No, not any day now. It's gonna be sometime. But we're getting closer and closer every day, and it would be amazing if you could go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Engage, continue to like and comment. Like we love seeing people in their feedback on what it's like to be along in this journey with us. If you were gonna move, what would you miss? What are things that are like
100%.
make it scary or
Mhm.
intimidating for you? I would love to talk more about it because it's different for everyone, and we have a very specific set of requirements for our life,
Mhm.
and I wanna hear how it compares to other people, so let us know.
And not only that, before we wrap it up, I think is also if you guys have any topics or questions for us or anything that relates to our journey of us moving out to another country, please post them under the comment section. I would love for us to read and have those type of conversations too, and, and answer questions from our viewers. You know, we've been getting a lot of new people have been watching, so I would love to get questions from people. Maybe there's other family members that other people that have family that would like to make the same move, not to Punta Cana, but moving out of the country.
Yeah,
Maybe they have a lot of questions about that, you know? So,
yeah, let us know
uh,
what you wanna hear.
definitely. All right. So we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching and also listening to the Danny and Riana show. Thank you for all the support. Thank you to all of the new subscribers. It's been amazing. The growth of the channel has been really, really cool to see. So please keep it up, share the content, and please like it, like our video, subscribe, and post on the comments. That will be great. All right. So we're gonna be out until next time. Bye.